Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'd love to have done this outside, but the weather and the traffic conditions at the moment are making that impossible. So we've come back indoors. I've had a number of emails asking me how the exhibition build is coming along. Well, slowly is the way to describe that. It is a slow process because it needs to be right. What you're looking at now is baseboard 2. And the reason why I'm starting with baseboard 2 is that technically, at least, in terms of electronics, it's going to be the easiest one to build. So that's where we are. Now, straight away, you'll have noticed this rail bridge, and that really is by design. And the appearance of this bridge is going to be even more accentuated once the baseboard is complete. Both the client and I wanted a standout statement bridge, and boy, have we got one. It's not finished yet, but as you can see, painted in this fire engine red, it really is going to stand out on this particular part of the layout because most of this area on this baseboard is going to be shades of green and brown. It's fields. There will be a couple of buildings. I'll talk about those in a moment, but it really is going to be a statement piece. So just to make it a little bit easier to see what's going on here, I've taken that rail bridge away now. In the background is a road bridge, and you can see it there. Again, like the rail bridge, it's not finished, nowhere near finished. It's got a number of treatments to go through yet. But that road bridge is going to lead away here, and there's going to be some hillside and some scenery and a church somewhere roughly there. And that church, unlike many churches that you see on model railway layouts, won't have a wedding. We're going to put a funeral scene in there. That's just our way. That's what we want. And then the road also, as well as serving the church, is going to come somewhere around here as it makes its way into the town area. And somewhere around here, there's going to be a petrol station and an independent garage mechanic shop, something like that. And the building for that we've already got. It's a converted dapole kit, formerly Airfix, but you've seen it before if you're a regular to the channel. I suppose the most striking feature of this baseboard as it stands right now is this riverbed. And again, I'm just going to remove the road bridge just so we can get a look at it. I'm filming this from the viewing perspective at an exhibition because this is going to be an exhibition layout. So the river, of course, runs straight across the baseboard. But unlike most rivers that just run from point A over there to point B, this one, as you can see, is split. And we don't know if the river itself splits or whether this is simply an island within that river. That's for the viewer to decide. But it does create a little bit of a point of difference and a point of interest. This riverbed is actually constructed partly with mod rock. If you're not familiar with mod rock, you probably know it by a different name, but it's this stuff here, the plaster sheeting. Sheets soaked in plaster, and you dampen them down and put them in. I've used this for riverbeds before, but I will give you some helpful advice right now. Before you apply it, make sure that your woodwork underneath is sealed, really well sealed, because once the water goes in here, and those of you who've tried to build a river will know, any type of epoxy or resin or anything else you use finds every least little smallest gap possible. Make sure your base is really, really well sealed. The mod rock went in and that was sealed again twice. So there's 4 coats of sealing on this river now, and it's not even finished yet. So as you can see, there is no water in this river, and you're probably looking at it and thinking, well, it looks a bit murky. It's by design again. There are 3 different colours of spray coat on this river as it stands right now. One is a bluey green colour, one is a rail match sleeper grime. I can't remember the third one that went in there. I think it was a black or a dark brown, something like that. And that's to give some variation. When you're 2 years old, you're given your first few sheets of blank paper and some crayons, and you automatically are led to believe that the grass is green and the sea is blue. No, it's not. Hate to burst your bubble. I'm very lucky to live right on the coast here in Cornwall in the UK, and I can tell you most definitely that the sea is clear, and the colour appearance comes from the reflection of above. And on a grey day, the sea looks grey, and on a blue, clear day, it looks blue. And if you don't believe that, go and run your tap or your faucet if you're stateside, and have a look at the colour of the water that comes out. It most definitely is not blue. So this is a semi-stagnant river as well, and that's why it has the appearance that it has. Once we finish modelling the banking and doing a little bit more blending in, it'll look a lot better than it does now, but we'll finish most of that before we add the resin. And we need to get this river done because once the two bridges are incorporated, of course, the railway bridge sort of roughly here, further back the road bridge, adding resin and treating our river bank is going to be nigh on impossible where those bridges are in the way. So there's a lot to consider. The other thing is, of course, the ground around this river will be elevated slightly, not so much for the railway. We're going to do a cut through with that. But the road area and the countryside around it certainly is going to have elevation. And that's all got to be blended in. So I wanted to get the river done, the resin in, and then I can forget about that. I can install the bridges and start working on the scenery. You'll notice one or two features already in the river, but we've got a long way to go. We've got these two dead tree trunks here, and we've got some plant life and a rock there, and then further along, as we just come along the river to the front, some more plant life. We've got another rock somewhere, there it is, and a few more things that are going to go on. There's going to be a small jetty, probably somewhere around here. So just to give you a perspective, it's quite near the front of the viewing area. That'll be semi-derelict as well. And we'll get all of that stuff in and done before we add our resin. But that's really where baseboard 2 of this build is sitting right now. How long has it taken so far? Round about 8 days, and that's including drying time for the various coats of sealer, PVA, glue, all the rest of the stuff, paint, everything else that has gone into this so far. And it's not as black and grey as it's looking on the camera, I can tell you that. But it is still being worked on. There's a lot more to do yet. But there we are. I hope you found that interesting and a little bit inspiring. Building one of these really is a labour of love, and it's time consuming, and we make a few alterations as we go. We do have a plan, but the plan is fluid, as is the river eventually. But there we are. I hope you've enjoyed this update. We'll join us next time and we'll see how far we've got. Bye for now.